Welcome to UC Bearcats on the Prowl, part of the Grueling Truth Radio Network. As always, James Ernest and Mark Fightmaster. Mark, tell us who the Bearcats got next Thursday night.
Well, our long national nightmare is over, and we got college football back next Thursday. The UC Bearcats play the mighty Austin Peay Governors. So, and that was said firmly tongue-in-cheek. They boasted an 0-11 record last year. So hopefully we'll get to see what the team has.
Yeah, with a team like that, I mean, it's designed so everybody gets in the game. Everybody can show Fickle what they can do, because obviously the next stretch of games is going to be tough. I mean, we got 3 on the road. I know, of course, everyone's, circling the Michigan game. And, yeah, it'd be nice if we win or have a really great show. But the other 2 are the ones that really count.
Yeah, definitely. You got Miami of Ohio and then Navy. You can't sleep on Navy. I mean, that's an AAC game now, So got to go up against that triple option they run with all their variations. So, but you're right when you said that this week's game against Austin Peay is going to really give Fickle a good idea of what he's got. I mean, we got Hayden Moore starting at quarterback, and then you got Ross Trail behind him, and I expect both of them to get a good amount of time. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see him almost split them up into halves to see what they can do, and so he knows what he's got. Same thing at running back. Now obviously Mike Boone's going to be the starter. He's the senior, but on the depth chart, we got Jared Dokes listed second, and he's a redshirt freshman. Got to get him some carries, especially on the college level, to see what he can do and what he's got in the backfield. So it's going to be an interesting game to watch, and also just to see how Fickle handles the team.
Exactly. I mean, there's going to be a lot of intrigue going into the game. Like you said, I mean, it shouldn't be a competitive game, but when you go to the game, it's not about who they're playing. It's about seeing UC itself play.
Exactly. They've been hitting each other for so long now. They get a chance to hit somebody in a different colored helmet, and see how they do and see what they've got, see if they can put everything together and get a good season going, And this really is a perfect first game for Fickle. It really is, because he's going to be able to throw everything out there to gauge for how his team is. So,
and I mean, UC needs that big boost after the last season they had. I mean, they just ended on that sour note and all. They got to go out and show what they can do, show some excitement. Like you said, they can throw a wide variety of plays at them, so that'll give Michigan and those other teams more to have to prepare for. I mean, if they were playing against a tougher opponent, they were just having to run the ball, or they were doing just short passes and all that, Michigan might not be as worried, or might not be preparing for as much.
Yeah. Something that when I coached in high school, and I know they do this in college, you talk about putting something on tape for teams to think about, and so hopefully we will get to that point in this game. They can throw a couple different formations out there. They can throw a couple, trick plays out there for them for Michigan to have to focus on, for them to have to prepare for. So
what do you think Mike Denbrook's going to be looking to do? I mean, do you think he's going to, since they're not the toughest team, or do you think he's going to establish the pass earlier, or do you think he's going to try to establish the run first?
And this is hypothetical, obviously. If it were me, I am more of a running style. I like I like the old Woody Hayes football, to bring Ohio State into the conversation. I like the 3 yards in the cloud of dust. I like power football. I like you line up in the eye and you make them stop you. Now, as far as they don't have a fullback listed on their depth chart. So we're not going to, we may not see that. They may put a tight end back as an H-back or something. But my guess is with Fickle, and if he has any influence on the offense at all, I'd expect to see, something similar to the Ohio State style of offense. If he can talk with the coach and get that. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, this is as much for the fans to find out what the team's got, and what it's going to be like, because, we've talked about the new energy and we've talked about the new attitude. We haven't talked about the new offense. We haven't talked about the new defense, because we don't know what it's going to be. So
exactly.
it's going to be a learning experience for everybody.
So with needing to win probably the next couple games, or not the next couple games, needing to win the first game, like you said, with Michigan going to Michigan next, and then going to Miami and going to Navy. And actually, a lot of people sleep on Miami, but Miami won like the last 6 games of their season.
Exactly. Yeah, they were 0-6 and ended up 6-6.
Yeah.
So you can't overlook them.
Yeah, they made a big turnaround. I've been going to UC Miami battle for the bell for the last 6 years, something like that. And each year it's been close. I mean, don't get me wrong, UC has not lost any of them, but it's been way more uncomfortable than I would have liked the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, this is UC in their first 4 games. Obviously Austin Peay. We can be guilty of looking past that one, but for the AAC even, they need UC to put up a good showing, because I don't know if you've seen, but some of the AAC teams are wearing a P6 helmet or a P6 sticker on their helmet, because they want to put in the minds of the college voters that they're a Power 6 conference. They want to be referred to as the Power 6. And UC's going to Michigan and putting up a good performance could go a long way for that. So the AAC is going to be rooting for them in that sense. I was looking at some preseason AAC polls, and the only one I really give much credence to is Jerry Palm. That guy always seems to be almost dead on with everything. He's got UC as 4th in the West. So if they can get, the 4th out of the preseason 4th out of 6 teams in the West to go and give a good showing, that's going to go a long way for the AAC. So
exactly. Yeah, I mean, in the past couple of years with how well Houston's done, playing against other big schools. I forget if it was Oklahoma or Texas they ended up beating early last year.
Yeah.
It's such a huge impact and started to get the league respect.
And interestingly enough, you bring up Houston. I was looking at that. It was a CBS Sports preseason AAC. Houston was rated by one of the writers, or maybe even 2, as the most overrated team in the conference. Yeah, it was interesting to me, because I think they got Tom Herman there, another Urban Meyer disciple, and you're going to see, I think they're going to be really good. But then when you're talking AAC football, apparently everybody's talking South Florida.
Yeah, that too. But
with Florida, Charlie Strong there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and then Sean King is one of their coaches.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, in that article, it was interesting. They talked about South Florida could very well go and be the only undefeated team in the country when the season comes to an end. But they said there's no way that they'll be seen even considered, because their strength of schedule is so poor.
Yeah, they have no shot. I mean, yeah, exactly. They could win every game by 60. It wouldn't matter.
Right. And that goes back to the AAC, and we talked about this last year until we were blue in the face. The AAC does not get the respect football-wise, and then, remember we talked about the having to do the mega conferences, so it's going to take mega conferences, I think, for the AAC to get some respect, or it's going to take teams like UC, teams like Temple, teams like Tulsa, Tulane, sneaking up and snatching one of those big games, like the UC Michigan game.
Very true. I mean, Temple's had a good history, and they can surprise some people. Like you said, Tulane, Tulsa. I mean, and then of course, like you said, South Florida has predicted big things. So, yeah, I mean, the AAC is on the rise. Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting, and like I said just a couple minutes ago, I'm excited to watch this team because I don't know what to expect. You know, you look at the depth chart, and it gives you an idea of what their offense is going to be because they list 3 wides and 1 tight end and 1 running back. So that's kind of the semi-spread kind of offense that an Ohio State runs, you know, some of those other big-time schools. So, you know, probably see that a little bit, spread it a little bit, use the quick bubble screen as an extended run play and stuff like that.
I mean, when it works, it's great. But it's just it's so friggin' frustrating at times, especially when under the old regime, because they just kept running it. And when the other teams, you know, you do something else, either sending the ball down the field a lot or you're busting it through the middle, and then they're not expecting it, it's great. I mean, you can make a huge play out of it. But when they know that's coming, it's just there's no point in it.
Well, and you know, think back to last year when we would watch those games, and you know, I know you and I were texting during several of the games. The Houston game, you remember UC was up. They failed to adjust. You know, UC failed to adjust to what was happening to them. You know, Houston started making the comeback, and UC couldn't adjust and get out of their own way. So, you know, with these younger coaches, Luke Fickell wanting to prove himself after his time at Ohio State, you know, the new offensive coordinator, the new defense coordinator, everybody wanting to prove themselves, I think, you know, we're going to see much better in-game adjustments. And so to make it a much more entertaining watch, you know, just to see what they're doing.
I see your point, yeah, because that was the thing. They were like, oh, this is the play we picked, you know, a week ago. Let's keep running. No. If it ain't working, don't do it.
Right. You know, and you know, I mean, you know coaches, James, you know, they're going into the games with a script, and they're going to see what works. You know, they script out maybe their first 10 plays, 10, 15 plays, and they want to see what works, and then they're going to run variations of what works. So it's going to be really interesting just to see how the coaching staff handles this, you know, because they're young. You know, they're young. They've got something to prove. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I think no matter what the record is at the end of the season, I think UC fans are going to be able to look at the football team and say, okay, we've got a coach who knows what he's doing. Yep. We've got a coach who is enthusiastic, who is who's hungry, who wants to do well, and we've got a team that plays with heart. I think that's what we need to measure the success or failure of the UC season on this year. Not the wins and losses, not the bowl game if there is one. I think we just need to see a big-time improvement in play because last year that team cashed in halfway through the season.
Yeah.
So
exactly. If they can keep up the intensity and just you know, keep playing like it means something, because you're right, that was the worst part about it, was seeing the players just not care anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, and we'll talk about this more when we preview the Michigan game in a week or so. But I'm almost as interested to see I want to see UC give Michigan a game. I want to see UC beat them because first of all, I'm a UC fan. Second of all, I hate Michigan. But I'm almost as interested to see what happens if UC gets down by 2 touchdowns early to Michigan and see what the team does. You know, is the team going to just cash it in? Are they going to give up and just let it go? Or are they going to play their asses off and try and get back in the game? Because we know what last year's team would have done. Now, what is this year's team going to do?
Very true, because you're right. Last year's team would have just stopped caring and just stopped really doing much anything. Yeah.
They'd have tucked their tails between their legs and cowered on the sidelines. You know, and that's just, you know, having been the Ohio State fan that I am and watching Fickell coach up there, that's not his style. And I'm hoping that translates over to the team.
Makes sense. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they need to take on the personality of their coach.
And they did last year, you know, so why shouldn't it happen this year?
Exactly. Well, getting back to their opponents.
Yeah, go ahead.
To being 0-11, unfortunately for Austin, not much of a defense there. Last year couldn't stop anybody with the run. The way I'm seeing it is that, and they don't. I mean, they got a couple offensive threats, like we were talking before the show, how they had that Tanner fellow that in their scrimmages was doing quite well. So I think they're going to come out and they're going to try to throw the ball on UC early. So I think the defense is really going to be what will be interesting, is seeing how many opportunities for turnovers. I remember, I forget which game it was last year, but it was one of the early ones where Mike Tyson had 3 interceptions in a game.
Right,
so I think the players could step up and actually have a huge game just like that on defense.
Right, and, looking at the depth chart again, if they want to throw the ball on us and try, UC is starting, let's see, it looks like Davin Pierce, who's a senior, at corner, Lyndon Stevens, who's a senior, at corner, Carter Jacobs, who's a senior at strong safety, and Malik Clements, who's a junior at free safety. I mean, they are throwing right into probably the strength of the defense when you're just looking at experience and who's been there before. They actually, their defense is pretty good. I think they're starting one sophomore, and everybody else is redshirt juniors or redshirt seniors and seniors. So, I mean, the defense, and you're right, they're going to be tested because Austin Peay's got to do something, right? They got to try and throw the ball around and get and open it up. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, and they're kind of in a similar situation with the young coach, with having Will Haley being, this second year after that first year, which has got to be disheartening.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah,
there's nothing worse than going over with no wins and really not many close games. So hopefully they don't turn it around this game, but hopefully they can get a win this season at some point in time because, young team, young coach, small school, see what they can do.
Exactly. Yeah, because I can relate. Unfortunately, that happened to the last arena team I was working with, and going undefeated did not sit well.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think. When I played in college, we were like 3-7 or something like that, and even 3-7 was disheartening. Because there were teams that we thought we could beat and just couldn't. So, hopefully Austin Peay can get some wins in their conference, but not against us.
Exactly. And, I mean, the level of, quality opponent they're going to be playing is nowhere near going to be as strong as UC in their conference.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, same thing with, that's why we go play Michigan. Because if we can hang with Michigan, that says we should be able to hang with anybody in our conference.
Yeah. I'm looking at their schedule. They actually play Miami of Ohio, second game of the season. Austin Peay does.
Austin Peay, yeah. Yeah, I noticed that. It's kind of a round-robin effect to it.
Yeah, they're going to make the tour of the two Cincinnati area teams and see what happens. But, they're in a tough conference. I mean, they really are in a tough conference for a smaller school. But let's see how they look against us. See how they look against Miami of Ohio. Maybe they can have a good season. But it's going to be tough. They got the likes of UT Martin and Eastern Kentucky. Those two teams are always good.
Yeah, they're
Murray
solid,
State. Yeah, they're in a solid conference.
Exactly. So they're definitely not playing any bumps.
No, they're not. Obviously, you're right. They're not the caliber of University of Cincinnati or even the Miami of Ohio, but they're still good teams.
So what's your prediction?
Well, you asked me about what I'd like to see from the offense, and that I think we're going to see UC, try some short passes. I'd love to see him establish the run. I want to put up a big number, but I'm just not sure that's going to happen because I honestly think they're going to be experimenting a little bit. I could see like a 35-7 win or a 28-0 maybe, somewhere in that range. If UC goes out and puts up 52, something like that, that would be awesome. But I just don't know that's what Fickle's going to be looking for. I think he wants to see what he's got and is going to be just plugging away and let happen what will. So I'm thinking 35-7.
Yeah, I'm thinking around the same area. I'm thinking like 42-10 because I feel that the defense is probably going to score half the points.
They could. They really could.
Yeah, I feel they're going to score about half the points. Them and special teams will get like some type of touchdown, either a kick return or punt return, that kind of thing. And several times they'll end up getting really good field position based on a turnover or two. So, yeah, the offense, like at the end of the day, next week when we're talking about, or not next week, but the following week when we're talking about the stats, and we'll be like, well, UC had 300 yards of offense or 400, but they didn't have anything crazy. They didn't 500-600 yards because short fields. Yeah, actually, Austin might even have as many yards, if not more, passing yards than UC because they'll have to keep going out there and throwing the ball because they won't have any other option to get back into the game.
Yeah, and that is a great point, because keep that field short. You're not going to rack up the yards. You can score some points, but you're not going to rack up the yards. So that's an outstanding point.
Well, thank you. So definitely looking forward to that. And then, Mark, if there's any games on the calendar that you're hoping to get to, just give me a heads up. If you're able to make them. Because
you gonna send me up? You gonna send me up to Michigan to cover it?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know that. I don't know that I can walk into that stadium. So.
Oh yeah, shoot! If I could get someone to drive and get credentials, I would totally do that.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, brother. So.
Yeah, I do have us with the Big Ten media. Oh, yeah. Actually, that would be the neat thing. Because I do have signed up for the AAC, my bad, wrong one, and the Big Ten conference calls, because they do the conference calls for the AAC on Monday, I believe.
Okay.
Monday, and then the other one is on Tuesday. So,
very cool.
Yeah, Monday is the AAC and Tuesday is the Big Ten. So that way, a week before, hopefully I'll be able to catch the Jim Harbaugh's second on there. So hopefully he stays second. Same with downside on the AAC one. I think Luke Fickle is further down, and unfortunately I start work at noon, so I can I can listen until noon. Actually, with Fickle, what I'll probably do is I'll push it a little bit. I'll clock in, and then I'll record the rest of Fickle's thing because each one's only 10 minutes for the AAC. It's only like 8 minutes in the Big Ten because the Big Ten has more teams.
Okay, yeah.
It's basically they basically give them 2 hours, but with the coaches for the AAC, it's 10 minutes apiece, and Big Ten 8 minutes. So that way we'll have some coverage ahead of time for Michigan. We'll be able to see or be able to hear what Harbaugh thinks of UC ahead of time.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. And then like this week coming up, of course, we'll be able to hear what Fickle thinks going into Austin or Austin Peay coming to us, that kind of thing. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Cool.
So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, other than that, nothing too much exciting going on. I know a lot of the teams are starting to announce the basketball schedule, and I haven't heard anything about UC officially announcing theirs yet. But
I haven't seen anything
coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, probably in the next week or two, it should be ready. So looking forward to that. And then
very cool.
With them starting to talk up the NBA and the D League as well, or the G League now. I'm going to follow up and see if any of the G League teams have signed any former UC guys. Oh, speaking of that, before we go, Martin in the finals, and James White.
Yeah, the trilogy playing for the Big Three crown, man. So that'll, I guess that goes down Sunday, but they'll probably try and keep it under wraps until Monday.
Exactly.
So, but see what happens. I think they're playing in Vegas.
Yeah, they're definitely playing in Vegas because it was Seattle last week and then Vegas this week because they gave Seattle a playoff game since they lost their team, and then of course Vegas because Vegas is just awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's awesome to see UC guys out there, King Martin, James White, and I know, unfortunately, it's just the one game this week, but if there was a way for Ruben Patterson to lose, it would be a good thing.
You're not bitter, though.
No, I'm not bitter. No, not bitter. Yeah, so expect random Ruben Patterson comments for the rest of eternity, because, But then again, I shouldn't blame him too much. At least he called in. James White never called. Yeah,
that's true.
Because we were scheduled 3 or 4 times. James is going to call.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reason why I can't hold a grudge with Kenyon, because he was never supposed to call. There was never a time where they're like, "You're getting Kenyon Martin." Like, okay, I get we don't get him, but
exactly. But how can you hold a grudge against Kenyon anyway? So.
Yeah, he seems like a really nice guy.
Yep, exactly.
Definitely. So we wish the UC Bearcats well next Thursday. Obviously, with the game being on Thursday night, it would kind of be silly to do a show the night before because no one would get to hear it. And definitely looking forward to it. And fans, come on out to the game as much as possible. Don't stay home. Watch it on the 4-letter because apparently it's going to be on NKU's favorite network, ESPN3.
Nice.
Well, for Mark Fightmaster and James Ernest, signing off for UC Bearcats on the